Rock and roll here? Okay, come to order. Can we start with the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excuse me. Notice this meeting has been provided to the public in accordance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act by publication in the South Jersey Times and the Elmer Times newspapers, particularly in Salem County, and by posting those in the Salem County Clerk's Office. Copies of the board minutes and the video of this meeting will be posted on SCIANJ.com. We have a roll call, please.
John Edwards.
Here.
Keith Word. Here. Robert Whitfield. Here. Ron Howard.
Present.
Lee Schneider.
Here.
Okay. We have the minutes A, B, C, and D. Is there any objection of taking them as a group?
Just a question about the first minute, the November 25th. Why doesn't the minutes reflect who the professionals were that were appointed? Just by resolution, there's no name
You
on
want to correct it?
We always go by the resolution title, and the title does not typically contain the name of the appointee in any case, whether it be professionals
That's
or
what you
not.
always do it?
Oh, yeah, that's what we've always done. I mean, would you prefer?
Oh, it's, there's a chance for that. No, not now.
Okay. So again, is there any objection to taking them all as a whole?
Motion to approve them all?
Second.
Hold on a second.
That wasn't, they weren't available for all of them. I wasn't.
Okay, so,
Motion to approve the first set of minutes, November 25th?
okay, a motion, have a second?
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Chair, if I may, about the minutes?
I guess.
Because they don't truly reflect my comment, what was in there, I put it down there, I'd like to have those inserted in the minutes before they're
Well,
accepted.
why don't you have someone, I'll serve. So for what date is this?
That's for the November 25th meeting?
Okay. Okay, public comment from November 25th, 2013. The freeholder would like this inserted in the minutes. That's the same question I was going to ask. If you considered the suggestion I made a year ago, recommending that the professional contracts align with the reorganization meeting. Obviously, you didn't feel it was needed. So you're saying you made that statement?
That's correct.
Anybody else remember that statement?
Yes,
You remember? So would you like to make a motion and start?
I will make that motion to insert that, where was that, in public comments?
Second.
Moved and seconded, when was it stated? Public comment section? Okay. Moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I'm gonna say no, because I'd rather review the tape, but that's just one vote, so it doesn't matter.
All right. So that's that one. You can take that. Okay, special meeting of December 7th.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any question on the motion? Been moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Anything else?
Aye.
Got some ayes?
That's December 7th?
Correct.
I wasn't here, so
I have to abstain.
Okay, so you abstained?
Yes.
So let the record show that you gentlemen abstained.
And Lou.
What was that?
Special meeting.
Saturday.
Oh, with you. Yeah, December 7th, I wasn't gonna figure that out. Okay, number C, executive session of October 21st, 2013.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Move to second, any questions on the motion? Move to second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, D, executive session of December 7th, okay.
Motion to approve?
Move,
Second.
second, move to second. Any questions on the motion? That's one moved and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Abstain,
2 abstains. Is that correct?
abstain here.
You didn't want to abstain, you didn't abstain, did you? Okay.
So what's the answer? We had 3, 4, 1 abstain and 1 no vote?
Yeah, on the 7th, the special meeting on the 7th, we have 4 and 1 abstaining.
On the 7th, there was,
That, the special, the executive session.
Executive. You remember that, didn't you?
no, I wasn't here, and neither was Lou.
That's right.
I abstain,
Yes, two
I abstain.
Oh, okay.
Just
That's
For the
okay.
regular and the post.
Gotcha. Okay. Council supervisor, okay. Solid Waste Division Manager report.
Good evening, everyone. You have my written report in front of you with all these little red marks on it. You also have charts in front of you. I'd like to point out the leachate gallon per month is dropping. Isn't that nice? That's a good thing. Does anyone have any questions about my charts or the written report?
I have a question concerning your report. Could you give us about 30 seconds on the problem you're having with having one road into the one cell? Or we've stopped using the upper cell, is that correct?
That is correct.
So that's history. We might go back to using it possibly in the spring or fall for a period of time.
No, we're using it for slightly contaminated laydown area right now. No waste is going out.
We won't
on
add, in a year or so to come, we might
site. No,
top it off.
no,
Okay,
there's no more room up there.
all right, so
Very long and narrow.
I
We
understand.
don't really have a problem right now in cell 8, but we're going to, if we don't get the exit road done, so that they can have one in and one out, so it'll be a one-way. Right now, they're backing up, they're backing in and dumping
Right.
and then coming out that
Yeah,
same road.
That's
That's a little bit of a problem, but we're working on it as best we can with the weather conditions that we have, because some of the weather's not really cooperating with us right now.
Was that anticipated, having just a one-way road?
To be honest with you, I don't really think we talked about that when we built cell 8, because I don't think anybody thought we'd operationally have a problem, but operationally, it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge.
Is that an engineering issue?
Which road are you talking about?
The exit road that we're building out of cell 8, you know, we have. the
Okay, so
exit-
it's not completed yet.
Not yet, we're
Okay.
still working on it. Yeah, it's a temporary route so that we can put in as much material in cell 8 as we can without causing, you know, problems for the haulers. One truck in, one truck out, can't do more than 2, there's no way. And
Right,
when-
so I just want to get that on the table.
It's challenging.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because one of the things we don't want to do is chase our customers away when
That's
they say they
correct.
have to sit there for half a day and they can't make their rounds. And they say, no matter what our rates are, we can't afford you because our trucks sit there half
How
a day.
long is somebody waiting?
You know, I didn't really run a truck report, a cycle time, I really couldn't tell you. Normally it's 22 minutes, it may be a little bit more than that right now. But they also don't have to go all the way around the landfill to go up onto the access road on cells 1 through 7. So I'll run that report and I'll have that for you next
That'd be
month.
It's not like we have 4 trucks waiting to go, like that.
Not usually, because it's kind of slowed down right now. Yeah, we're a little bit slower because of the weather.
Okay.
When do you anticipate the road being completed?
Next week.
Is there any other questions?
Yeah, who does the site drilling for the well drilling? You said they've been added, but
Oh,
they
Sickles.
need to be,
Sickles did the confirmation of where the wells were drilled, that survey.
he's still working on them?
No, they've got that
That's
complete.
been, okay.
Yeah,
You said they have not received the site drilling.
I believe Debbie just received it this week.
Okay.
Yeah. When I write this report, it's usually like 2 weeks ago.
Is DCO Energetics the same as SC Landfill Energy?
Yeah, that's our energy partner. SCLE is the name of the project that's on our site. DCO is actually our energy partner. The project name is SCLE. Gets a little confusing.
We're gonna have an agreement later on for SCLE.
We have an agreement in place right now with SCLE, that project, with DCO Energetics. It's about the project. our methane gas goes to their generator and they make the electricity.
Okay.
They're going
I
to
didn't
put,
see anything about DCO energetics in there, so I didn't know if it
oh,
was the
okay,
same.
yeah, it's the same, yeah, and that phase 3 project, hopefully will start this week. Mhm.
Okay, while we're here, would maybe take an opportunity to introduce our new.
This is our new landfill supervisor, Ludie Van Tonder. I want to introduce him to everybody.
We met him a few months ago before.
Oh, did you? Well, that's
I
good.
don't think I met her on.
That's good, and you're on camera. so
Okay,
that's
they're on, and Lou
Hey,
Schneider,
met Lou.
good.
They drove me.
freeholder liaison, Cross,
Okay,
so,
I know the in-laws.
Adam Cross.
okay, any more questions on the solid waste division manager? Hearing no more questions, without objection, I'll order the report received and filed. No objections heard, so ordered.
Is the
Okay,
same.
next item.
Mhm.
I don't want to get the holidays.
Yeah, whether to- Thank you.
Okay, now the engineer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe the board has our report from December 12th. Don't have anything to add to it. I'll just note that I, did see that it's on your agenda for award of the contract for cell 9 construction. And if there's any questions either on that or anything else, be happy to answer them for you.
Any questions of the engineer?
On vertical expansion, it says, as they transition into cell 8, we continue to coordinate modifications to the landfill gas collection system and other systems that may be necessary. Is that the
Right.
road?
Whenever we're asked, we provide
Okay,
advice, yes.
okay. So you don't look at things and tell us what we need or?
Well, they're generally operational issues, and you have
The construction of the road?
construction of an access road, yeah. Temporary access roads into cells are
Okay.
generally done by the operations people, because they know the site best. And when asked, we provide advice.
Yeah, they might be built, and they might disappear, right,
Right,
from time to time.
or they're moved and,
Moved
yeah.
and so forth. Yeah, any other questions of the engineer? Hearing none, without objection, I'll order the report received and filed, with no objections, so ordered. Okay, we have the solid waste division bills, resolution. Oh, resolution, what's our number? 109, 213-109, bills totaling $343,426 to the through checks, $32,962 to electronic payments, and 0 to manual checks.
Motion approved?
Moved, your second?
Second.
Moved second. Any questions on the motion? Moved second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, next item on the agenda. Moving right along. Economic Development Division Manager Report, Tim Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have my written report in front of you. If there's any comments or questions?
Any questions from the board? Okay, there are no questions, without objection, I'll order the report received and filed. There are no objections, so ordered. We have the bills for the Economic Development Division, totaling $4,468. Someone like to make a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second.
Moving second, any question on the motion? Moving second, all, I'm sorry.
Resolution 110.
110. Moving second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Cool. So, I passed over the consultant report. Yes, sir.
Okay. We're working on the economic development strategy. We've made a change of revision, submitted it to staff, and waiting for comments on that.
When will you have that?
We'll have our comments back by Friday.
Friday?
Jim's already done his part, and I'll do mine.
Okay.
Plan is to wrap it up by the end of the year, so
You're
it's
in.
ready to be presented and move forward.
Okay. Any questions?
Was presented when? January?
January,
By the January meeting.
January meeting or?
perhaps we'll have a special meeting.
What's the date of the January meeting?
Or the end, 20.
So it's something.
I'm back from vacation.
And let's see, get in our hands and maybe we'll put a special meeting. Yeah. Get rid of that. Any other questions? Hearing no question without objection, I'll order the report received and filed. Hearing no objections, so ordered. Nursing home division bills. The bills to pay, wow,
Oh, great.
finally.
Right at
This
the end
is
of
the
tunnel.
first time in,
Second.
It's 1865.
right, yeah, from the end of the Civil War, right? The Alms House closed. Okay, my mom always used to tell me, you go somebody to the Alms House, or I wanted something.
Hopefully, so.
Okay, so no action there. Standing committee reports, well, I guess the best thing, is this the time to go over the lawsuit that we're involved in? Not as good a time as any, unless you want to finish the report up and go into it there. Why don't we finish up and then we'll go in the lawsuit, that'll be,
We have listed under old business.
right, and that'll be the executive committee report. Okay, so without objection, I'll do that. I hear no objection. Okay, let's move on. Personnel committee. Ron, what do we have?
One thing we talked about was a dental finish, and Debbie will light us on that.
Yeah,
We have a little problem with that,
at
right?
the end of last week, actually Friday, Horizon finally got back with us, as did Aetna. Horizon has officially declined to provide a quote to the Improvement Authority. That's who our current plan provider is. Aetna did confirm that they will hold over the 2013 rates into 2014. Under tab number 7, under old business, you do have a letter from me outlining 3 different alternatives and options for the Improvement Authority to undertake. One would be to roll the Improvement Authority into the Aetna plan, which continues to piggyback on with the county. 2 things for the board to be aware of in that: there's about a 16% savings over our current rates, which is a very nice reduction of those fees through 2014. The plan year does roll only through September 30th of 2014. So it is not a full calendar year. It is a January 1st roll-in and a September 30th rollout, so the rates would be up for discussion on October. There is, and still remains to be, a significant disruption of potential service providers, although there are more people in San County coming into the network, but a fair number of the current providers are still not in the Aetna network. The second recommendation is to look at the MetLife plan. That is a significant increase over existing rates. This organization did have MetLife as a dental provider when the nursing home was part of the organization. We had and enjoyed very favorable rates at that point in time. The only financial recommendation I would make at that point in time is that if we do consider that as a possibility, it would only be conditioned upon the employees then cost sharing in that rate increase at the same rate that they're contributing to their medical and prescription plan. They do not at the present time contribute to any dental costs.
Was their services that much better than?
These are all very comparable plans. At this point in time, there's really no differentiator, with the exception of the network in terms of what's covered and what's not covered. Basic cosmetic orthodontia is not covered under any of the plans. Your 6-month cleaning is provided under all the plans. Your once-a-year x-ray is provided. And then there's a cost, usually 80-20% for any fillings or work that you need done that way. The third option that came up at earlier personnel committee meetings, courtesy of member Whitfield, was that in his prior organization, rather than offer dental coverage or some other benefits, that organization provided a simple $500 refund to the employees, reimbursement to the employees for non-covered expenses. So rather than have a dental plan at all, we would enter into a pre-tax flex spending account that would reimburse the employees for expenses that are not covered under their current plans, for up to a $500 value. That does cap what the organization has by way of a budget. It does not provide a medical plan or a dental plan at all. And so those are the three options for consideration.
So it's kind of like cash is king? You can have dental or $500 a year, is it?
Well, 500
That was a
was the
recommendation.
reimbursement on our authority.
Yeah, and
And it was
if,
for eyeglasses, prescriptions, whatever you needed it for. It ended up
But
being,
you had to furnish a receipt for it.
yes, it's reimbursement.
It has to be medical.
Well, that's the way ours was. And, it ended up being just slightly cheaper than a program.
How many years ago was that?
Well, it may be another number now, but you know,
Yeah.
you set the number wherever you want to.
Yeah.
If you're looking at spending $500 or $600 an employee, if you lock in on what it is, you'll be that way you'll be buffered from further increases.
yeah, under
It worked for us and
Horizon,
the guys liked it, and the girls.
under Horizon, the total cost to the authority for the 14 covered entities that are in the plan right now for Horizon is $6,458 per year. Okay. We did look at state health benefits. That's a very, very rich and expensive program. We did look at Delta Dental. That was also a very rich, expensive program. Those two costs, state health benefits would have taken the rates to $14,667 per year. Delta Dental would take it to $14,367 per year. The MetLife still takes it to $11,567 per year. So there are significant increases over the Aetna plan, obviously, which is a cost savings, or the current design, which is Horizon.
So who's the outfit now that the county has?
Aetna.
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 And what's that number for us?
That number for us would drop from our $6,400 down to $5,402
For all our employees?
for the same exact 1,400, yes.
Right. Now, in fact, that 500, in my personal company, that's exactly what I did. And the number is 500 per chance. And anybody can bring in any receipt from any prescription, doctor, or dental, up to $500 in the calendar year, and we reimburse it. And we got to that because the dental thing was a mess, what's covered, and who's covered. There was so much trouble.
And the plans change and you lose your dentist. It was just too much of a mess.
It was, we stopped at 6-7 years, whatever. What are the employees, what's their general opinion?
Well, we asked them about the disruption of service, and that was certainly not favorable to them.
Well, I can imagine that.
Honestly, in terms of contributing more toward dental at twice the cost, is probably just as unpalatable as changing dentists at that point. If they were to pick up a whole percentage of the increase, if it was going to be a percentage contribution toward something similar to what they're paying for medical and dental, they had very good favorable experience with MetLife. You know, so it comes down to a financial decision.
The MetLife's choice to,
Just, yeah, it's 16.
so let's call it 5,800, 6,000, let's call it.
Mhm.
For us to get MetLife down to 6,000 employees, we have to pay 50%, approximately. We want us to do that. Well, we gotta make a decision right here and now.
We need to make a decision before 1/1.
That's here and now. Unless you want to come Christmas Eve.
And, you know, again, I apologize for the lateness
Yeah,
of this,
I mean, we're-
but Horizon did give us the indication that they were going to provide a quote, and Aetna was long in confirming that the 2014 rates would be held the same.
This sounds
Yeah,
like
so
it was the best.
that was okay until September when you can review it, right? Looks like it's me.
Yes, Aetna would be, these rates that they've given us for 2013 on the chart that you have would be held for January 1st for the improvement authority until September 30th.
And the downside of that is the number of available dentists in the county.
It's not the number of available dentists, it's those that are current service providers,
Well,
so
yeah, the ones that people.
Yeah, we
there
have-
are dentists who accept Aetna in the
Right.
county. Yeah. And I think as Freeholder
Is
Cross
that-
pointed out,
5,400, is that an annual fee or 9 months?
That's the annual fee.
Okay,
Yeah, we
so,
asked them, they did do this projection based on what at that time was October 1st to September 30th.
So it would be 2/3 of that, or 3/4.
Need a motion?
Well,
Yeah.
Just saying the plan, would be, if we paid $500, we'd come around somewhere around $7,000.
6.
For the police
Well,
unit.
seven, say 500 times 14 employees. And what's the end going to charge us?
And it's gonna charge us for the current, year going forward in 2014. They're gonna charge us $5,402.
Well, that's cheaper than giving each one $500.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give $500.
Yeah, but they wouldn't all take that if they're not using it for the problem.
Well, again, that was more from a dental perspective as well as any medical or prescription or vision or whatever that is not
Oh,
covered.
yeah.
If anybody wear glasses, glasses will cost you at least $200. That's just a regular pair of the glasses. You know,
It cost me 12. You want to toast them.
you know, reading glasses. Then you get your dinner, you get your,
I get
Get
a
your dinner
dozen,
twice
I
a
get a
year.
dozen over $100.
I think we should keep the plan we have. It
And,
costs us more to pay out.
Motion
Save
for
save
Edna?
$2,000.
and what's the employee pay for the
If we
other?
give 'em,
For the current plan, the employees pay nothing.
Okay, that's the
Yes.
5,000,
Under the Horizon plan, the employees pay nothing.
oh, on the Aetna plan,
And the recommendation
Horizon's
is
not
that they
available.
still, pay nothing.
okay.
Obviously, we're
You
saving.
make the motion,
I made a
Martha?
motion that,
what was your motion?
to accept the Aetna plan?
Yeah, I second the motion.
Move second, any question on the motion? Hearing no question, move second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, so much for that. On the policy for driver's abstract, we went through this last week.
You do have a resolution
Yeah.
in your new business section.
Someone like to make a motion?
Mountain do that?
Second.
Move second, any question on the motion? This is the thing where each person has to give us the authority to get their driver's abstract from the state every year, every 2 years, was it?
Every year.
Every year.
Resolution 111?
We're going to resolutions now?
That's under new business.
The resolution's in the book.
We work our way
What tab
through
is
it.
that?
It's under tab 8 and it's about halfway back under new business.
We will bounce back and forth.
Yeah, we talked about this at the last meeting, if you recall. I'm surprised we didn't have it before that.
Can I just make a statement?
Yeah, sure.
The Improvement Authority has had a policy to secure driver abstracts for its employees. When we did the site visit with the statewide chief, they requested that we have a waiver and authorization, specific authorization from every employee on file in order to secure that waiver. So it's a quid pro quo issue. They have to have this in order to drive. We have to have this waiver in order to get that report. So it basically amends our current policy to require that.
Yeah, you got to have that waiver, you just can't get that.
And that includes the people that use their own cars.
Yes, it includes
Every
every
month.
employee who may drive
On the
or,
side.
yep, or offsite for us.
Sue, made that motion?
Second.
Move second, any question on the motion? Move second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So that's it for personnel. Okay, solid waste committee,
Yes, we had a meeting, I think it was December 5th, wasn't it?
Yes.
And the leachate tank is in the process of being done. And then we're gonna talk about this, the awarding the cell, right?
well, yeah, we don't need to talk about it.
No,
That's under
it's on the
tab 8,
agenda.
that's under new
Okay.
business.
That's all I got. Everything
Okay.
else is
Any
the same
questions?
as every other month.
Okay,
Environmental,
okay, hearing no questions, without objection, I'll order the report to the file, and hear no objections, so.
Well, was it the first Thursday or the second Thursday?
This was December 5th.
Okay. And then the other report said it was moved to the second Thursday in the solid waste.
Innovation, technology, anything to report there? I think I can report it, the damn thing don't work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the only thing I know is emails having issues, so, but I'm sure you're gonna tell me that's resolved.
We are in the process, if anybody saw Victor's here
Thursday,
today,
this
of
one.
replacing the bad RAID in the Exchange server that was brought over from the county that has handled our email. And it is working now, Jim has given me the thumbs up
Yeah,
that it
yeah.
is working now. We have had intermittent attachment issues, apologize immensely for that, but it's going to show that when you have new equipment, if you have one weak link in the process and it's an existing piece of equipment, you might as well bite the bullet then and replace that one too. And
Renewable and alternative energy, anything on that? Well, hold on. Let's go back to innovation technology. Any more questions, or any questions? Without objection, I'll order the report received and filed. If there are no objections, so ordered. Renewable and alternative energy, anything on that? Everything is recognized if there were no meetings, no report. Executive Director's report.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Under tab 6, you have my report, just a few things to highlight. We have had our consultant Lancaster Group evaluate the Golden Nursing Home demand for payment. The documentation that was sent over did include 2 additional Medicaid remittances that were not provided to us previously. So we're in the process of recalculating those totals. It does look like the total amount due, as Golden represented, was $158,349.14. So we will be giving the breakdown on that in the future. And as I understand, there's been no action on Golden's part relative to that demand for payment. You've had all the opportunity to look through the Solid Waste Division Manager's report. I will point out that there has been some additional regulatory activity. We did have another site visit from Mr. Hanson, as was reported in Linda's report. We did receive some comments from him at that time. No violations, generally favorable with the improvements at the site. But as he said, he'll be keeping a close eye on this. And he was very different in his persona when he was at this visit. So we think our meeting with him was a good way to open up the communication between him and our staff. And we look forward to continuing that dialogue. He has also been removed from the property at some other facilities.
Debbie, can I make a statement? I did not include that in my
Through the chairman.
report because.
Excuse me?
Through the chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Chairman.
Chairman, can I make a comment?
Yeah, sure.
I did not include that in my report because he had not come for his inspection prior to me writing my report.
Okay.
So his attitude was better, but he's also got heat, not only from meeting with us and with his boss, and he's being thrown off other sites. So he's straightening his act out, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
I'd say
Anybody
there's
read
been
our,
some behavior
permit.
modification.
very good, that's great.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
The technology, you're very aware of that. We did receive the shared service agreement back from the County of Salem. Thank them for their prompt attention on that. And we do have on the bill list the payment of the $2,000 for the equipment storage and rental. And we talked about the IT. Just to keep you guys posted, we've not yet received the signed document, budget document from the state yet, but it has been approved up there. They've received it. We do expect that back at any time. Our human resource coordinator remains out on maternity leave. She expects to return early January. And we did have our Improvement Authority Association meeting to exchange information with all the other authorities in the state. We have 3 open requests pending from the County of Salem, which will be resolved tomorrow. And we have a series of dates there that you can see. Our 27th board meeting, not 28th board meeting, is our next meeting. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Yeah, where are we vis-a-vis the county and the bill from Golden? Any correspondence or?
There's no,
Nothing to me.
no, there's been nothing.
Okay. So we presented them with the demand. What did we do?
There was-
We got the demand from
Yes.
Golden, 158. We're assuming now that looks like it's gonna be the number.
Yeah, there was some discrepancy as to what the number was.
So let's assume for the moment it's 158.
Right.
I mean, it could be corrected, hopefully downward. So we have shared that with the county.
I reached out to the county administrator and we have not had a live in-person conversation yet about that.
So did we send a letter?
No, I wanted to have a conversation prior to sending a letter to him.
Well, I think we ought to get
I
it
need
on
the
paper.
numbers, finalized before I can send him a letter.
But,
And how many times did you talk to him, or leave messages?
No, we've exchanged voicemails back and forth.
Okay,
He's
good,
been
so
out,
you're
I've been
on
out.
you're on the right track.
but,
Yep.
but it seems to me that we should put them on notice so they know it's not $10 or $2 million, it's roughly this.
I think that's what Debbie's trying to do, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but I don't, only put in writing, because
Well, when she gets the numbers, right, I mean, you need the numbers and we can put it in writing.
we might not have that number for a month or so.
Well, they're not gonna-
It'll be here.
They're not gonna pay anything until they have the numbers, so what's the?
Well, yeah, just give a heads up.
I
They got
think
no
she's
comment.
giving them a heads up by communicating with them.
All right. You're satisfied with the verbal?
Yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
don't think I don't think it's gonna end up, I agree that at some point we should send them something in writing, but let's send them something solid, I mean, it sounds like you're gonna get it shortly,
Early next
right?
week, Yes,
This week,
early next week.
early next week, and then we can put that.
Yeah.
I'll ask
I mean,
Mr. Cross, have you reported in your reports back to the freeholders about this?
There was some discussion, I know last week, between the CFO and I don't know if it was the administrator or Madam Director, so.
So,
I know that it's on the map.
so the freeholders generally know that there's a problem out there, right?
It's on the map because it's in the,
Now, the question is, do the freeholders generally know that there's a problem out there? I mean,
problem out where you're referring to.
I mean,
Mr. Chair.
there's a bill hanging out there in the neighborhood of,
Well, and listening to what you just said, the number wasn't firm either, so. I think what was just briefly said there, as soon as the number's firm, take it to, present it to the administrator, and we'll get it on whatever agenda needs to be
So
on. to be
my
addressed.
question is, once we come up with this number, such and such for them, such and such for us, splitting that one day down the middle, are we gonna go ahead and pay our share?
Well, they're gonna agree to it, I would think.
Well, I mean, okay, well, you said the freeholders have to,
Yeah, no, I think,
once we, they tell us a number, this is being audited for over a couple of years
Yeah.
now. Now we have a number, $150,000 it would be, and X amount is ours, okay, and X amount is freeholders. At that time, when we figure out who's who, are we gonna go ahead and pay ours, and then
well,
let them determine what they're gonna do with the freeholder level?
And I would suggest if we wanna get into detail on this, let's discuss this in the closed session as a.
Would there be any reason not to pay what we think we owe?
definitely, because the amount, these people are looking to us, not the freeholders.
I understand that, because
So,
they dealt with us when they
no,
sold
we
the house,
gotta
I
look
get that.
to the freeholder. I doubt, well, I don't know. I don't wanna get into it because I
Why
don't
don't we
wanna
do- why don't we-
prejudice our,
Let's
our
go into
case.
closed session and discuss, these are the kinds of
Yeah.
things that we like to discuss in closed session, because it's sort of like a strategy, litigation kind of thing, and it's probably best to.
Because if I'm golden, you give me some of it now, and we'll worry about the rest of it, but you gave me nothing for 2 years, so, okay. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, I know where I would be if I was them, but I don't wanna, give them any ideas. Okay, so we'll take that up under closed session.
they wanted to comment?
Yeah.
On the economic development, strategic plan draft number 2 has been received and under review. The plan will be finalized and then presented to the board. Is that the way you usually do it? You finalize them and then present them?
Well,
Finalized by staff.
Not final.
Okay, so it's draft when you get it in
yeah,
December,
final,
January.
final
It's a
draft,
draft.
final
Okay.
draft,
So the
We
draft
modify
plan
based
received will
on-
be a draft plan.
right,
Finalized sounds final.
yeah. Final draft.
Nearing final.
Okay, where are we at? I'm lost. We haven't, we're still asking questions. Any more questions on the executive director's report? Hearing none without objection, I'll order the report received and filed, hearing no objection, so ordered. Okay. Old business. Now, this is having to do with the lawsuit. I'll ask our attorney, should we discuss in open session, then if required, go into closed session, or?
Well, it depends on what you wanna discuss, I mean.
Well, I think maybe you should tell us where we stand.
Sure, and that's all public,
Yeah, I mean,
Public
anybody can stop by the
information.
courthouse and
right.
get a copy of that.
Well, we did file, with the courts our challenge to the veto of by the freeholders of our minutes. It was a twofold type of lawsuit. We got in quickly because we were requesting an emergent relief in the form of the issuance of the professional services contracts as of January 1st, so that we didn't run into an issue where we didn't have contracts and we'd have professionals during the pendency of the matter. We were in front of Judge Curia this morning, and she did order that the professional services contracts are issued pending the outcome of the underlying matter. So they will be issued January 1st as previously anticipated, and would remain there. Why I say pending the outcome of this matter, she anticipates to hear this matter and have a decision next month. So it would be before the next reorganization meeting. So we would be able to continue business as usual until the matter's decided.
Okay, so we have these contracts out to our professionals. We assume that they will sign them, and they'll come back here and we will sign them with a caveat
Bless you.
that it's under review of the court,
Yeah.
something of that nature.
Yep, I would do like a cover letter saying it's subject to court decision, court review, and that way everybody's aware.
Okay. Any questions?
Yeah.
So they would be, if the court upholds the freeholder's veto, they're still on until replaced?
Well,
There'd
then
be-
there would have to be decision made as to how it moves forward. I mean, the veto of the minutes would essentially, if we lose, then what ends up happening is you don't have contracts as of January 1st, and then the improvement authority will have to come to a decision as to how to employ professionals and how they want to do that. Do they want to do a reorganization? How do they want to handle that?
How's that work with the audit, if it happens that way, and you spend more than 17.5 with a,
That's one of the
No,
key
we're
issues.
permitted to spend more than
but if
$75.
the contract becomes void as of January 1st,
Well,
how it works?
no, we're authorized to sign the contracts and employ the people, okay? And
Right.
whatever work they do in January or up till the time that the judge decides is legitimate.
Right, I mean, it's business as usual
Right.
Okay.
until otherwise heard, until
Yeah.
otherwise told.
So what has happened is the judge, and correct me if I'm wrong, has stopped the action of the veto action.
Yeah, temporarily, I
Restrained.
mean, temporarily,
Restrained.
she's allowed for the issuance of the contracts.
Right.
Which, the way the veto was written, it seemed as though, the veto said nothing past December 31st. So it allows for the issuance of the contracts as of January 1st.
Now, the couple of the big questions was the reason for the veto. We never did get that. Has that changed? In other words, at the freeholder meeting, I was told that there were two reasons. One, that we issued the returns on the contracts for a day after a holiday. Okay, I don't get that on the table too. I don't think everybody here knows.
I really think that if we're gonna get into the nitty gritty beyond my overview, again, I would
Do a closed
suggest this
session.
would be a closed session
Okay,
type, so that everybody can speak freely and
Okay.
they can concern themselves.
okay.
So my understanding is, okay, business as usual, we'll have people doing the functions they need to do up until the date of this hearing, right?
Yeah,
And the date of this hearing, if they decide the freeholders are correct, then these contracts issued will be null and void for the rest of the year, and we would be paying them for the work done up to that point in time?
oh yeah, to which point, it's sort of sketchy as to how this works. I mean, the bottom line is, the veto, if the judge rules in favor of the freeholders, then in my opinion, then the veto is correct, it stands. So those contracts are dead. Now, obviously, something will have to happen where the improvement authority issues new contracts or does something to employ professionals, but the contracts that were authorized as of November 25th are dead because of the veto, which essentially killed those contracts.
And theoretically, you can pay him 2 months' worth of work, or whatever it might be, to that individual. The contract was, 1/6 of it, or whatever it might be, 1/12. Next question is, as in your position, is this lawsuit, is this part of when we pay you, is this outside of your normal scope, and is this additional money that is charged to the Improvement Authority?
I'm doing this on behalf of the Improvement Authority, so it's
So
the
you are our
Improvement Authority
solicitor, and
that's
this is
paying
part of your normal,
Yes.
there's not anything above and beyond, okay?
Nope.
Well, the proposal says court costs are different. Your proposal says court costs are a different fee.
I charge the same rate, no matter, it's $150 an hour, I charge it if I'm in court or sitting in here.
Now, would it be prudent for the board to authorize going out for professional services contracts just in case it?
I don't think you have to. I think
It's already been done.
it's already been
Well,
done.
it's been done, but maybe undone, that's all, just, if we need a resolution to go out,
But she didn't say that the request for proposals were undone. She said the contracts were undone.
Fair enough.
Request for
Practice was
proposals,
done properly.
she didn't say anything about that. And they were approved, the freeholder didn't veto those,
they didn't veto what,
the request for proposals. We got the
well, the request for
proposals.
proposals now, okay, so you still have the request, if we needed to later, like in January? If the contracts are thrown out, we have to go through the process again.
I don't think you did. I don't know, that's,
So we'll
I guess,
talk-
that would be up to
we'll
the
talk in
judge.
executive
It's a closed session.
That's,
really.
Yeah. So where are we at?
Well, let me ask you a question, I don't know if this is proposed session or not. If we're being micromanaged by the freeholders, by this veto, how does that affect our way we do business? Is that closed session?
I don't know about
No,
that.
that's the law that's been in place for
Well,
5 years.
as far as I'm concerned, okay, we have to go into closed session for certain aspects of this. But I want us to get on the table out here in public, so these people can hear what happened and how it happened.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna do that, and nobody's gonna stop me from doing it, okay? Everybody can go home, and I'll stand out in the street, okay? But I wanna make sure it's on the record precisely what happened, okay? That I wanna do.
Okay.
And again, I'm going to do it. I don't care if I say I have to stand out in the saloon out there and do it. Okay, what's next? Is it time to go into the closed, where are we at here? Let's see what we can do. We might want to, well, I don't know what we want to do. Yeah, so why don't we do the new business and then go into closed session? Is that agreeable to everyone? Makes some sense?
So you have the agenda, correspondence and public comment and closed session. By the agenda, if you follow that.
Okay.
Next one.
Okay, we're down to new business, resolution awarding contract for landfill expansion to cell number 9. You have a quick report on that?
Yes, on December 5th, we did open sealed bids in accordance with the local public contracts law for cell number 9. Recommendation relative to our engineering review of those proposals, as reviewed by Linda Williams and I also, show that the apparent low bidder, who has been in conformance with the bid requests and the proposals, is R.E. Pearson at $4,056,500. You can see the difference in pricing between the other vendors that provided a bid. This is one of the closer bids that we saw. When we did cell number 8, there was a wider margin on these. And the attached sheet that T&M provided shows you where the vendors basically altered their bids relative to various line items and why Pearson was the lowest bidder. Based on the operational need for cell number 9 to get open, and relative to the operational challenges we are experiencing with cell number 8, we do recommend that we proceed on the timeline. This is the same timeline that we spoke about 3 years ago, when the expansion permits were given to the solid waste division to construct cell number 9, and we recommend that the board move forward with that.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend R.E. Pearson construction.
Okay, the motion made,
Second.
second. Could we have a report from T&M? They've included a letter. Can you
Sure, Mr. Chairman.
capitalize that, or?
You have our review of the bids dated December 10th. as Debbie mentioned, Pearson complied with all the bid specifications and all the legal requirements. We've also worked with Pearson and their subcontractor numerous times on many landfill construction projects, and they've always been, done excellent work in everything we've been involved with, and certainly recommend them as the lowest qualified bidder.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, sir.
And I'm pleased to say they're from Salem County.
Madam Executive Director, you're satisfied with the procedures we went through that are, we comply with all regulations?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I asked our attorney, you satisfied that?
Yeah, I've taken a look at the bid submissions so far.
Now, will the roads be the same roads, the construction roads and the truck roads? They have a different access.
Ultimately, you're gonna have new access roads into this new cell. It'll
That's coming out of the back.
potentially be, what's there now may be used for part of the time, but ultimately, you're gonna have new roads built as well.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other questions on the motion?
It's resolution 112.
Resolution 112. Okay, moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, resolution authorizing waiver with key equipment finance. Now, that's, has to do with the, what do you call it? Energy, who got, what's her name?
DCO.
DCO Energy. Apparently they're refinancing, is that what the bottom line is? And this is an equipment company, so they're financing the equipment on the site. And these people would then have the right to take the equipment if they didn't pay their bill, and/or they could put their self in the place of DCO to operate the equipment. Is that, do I understand that right?
Yes, you want to understand that, right?
And that's the proper.
That's really more for the collateral assignment, which
Right, I understand it.
the waiver is, where they're requesting that we waive any, interest we may have in their equipment,
Yeah, I
should they
understand,
be
this is a
default or
separate
something, right.
piece of paper, but it gets down to,
Mhm.
so what we're saying is, we're telling them by this waiver, that we don't have a lien on that, machine out there.
Well,
Or
we're
whatever.
telling you, we're waiving any lien or interest we may have.
Right, which, I don't know that we have
Yeah,
anything.
just a your basic landlord-tenant type of
Right.
lien, that's really what they're trying to get at.
I'll make a motion to approve that, resolution number 113.
What equipment? What equipment?
A big generator, and all the electrical gadgetry and what have you. But really, it's the generator, that's the only thing of any, that's about the only thing you pick up and carry away.
We have a contract with, I guess we're waiting for a second or something.
Yeah, we have a motion.
Second.
Second. Question on the motion.
Is there a contract we have with DCO Energetics?
Yeah, it's worth about,
And how long is that? That's not 20 year also, is it?
It is a long-term land lease, yes, it is.
that's all it is, the land lease, basically. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's correct.
We're not a rate for nothing. The question I asked, raised over the years, if they just one day said, look, we quit. We don't have no recourse at all, I see.
Probably guaranteed us money,
No, $33,000 a year.
and that's guaranteed.
34 was it somehow?
And that's for the, using the gasoline, gas, no, not the
Land
gas.
rent, land rent. That's the only thing that they're,
We get a discount on the transmission.
right, and we get a little bit of a rebate.
Now, we've had some problems with, well readings or something, some air monitoring things, are they responsible for something with that? DCO?
They are responsible for managing the well field and monitoring. It's our job to install the well field and to ensure that the gas is supplied to them. So there's an interconnection between both SCIA staff as well as DCO staff to make sure that that well field is optimized.
Okay, and is it a problem that they reference the utilities? Or-
Yes, if I could, please.
Yeah.
The amendments that you have before you are being revised to include the Salem County Improvement Authority. They are very aware that that is the improvement authority, which is, the heir apparent to the Sound County Utilities Authority. The other provision that is made, and I have not yet received it from them, is we did request under the collateral assignment, the right to have an agreement with the future operator, should there be one, of this equipment. Because it is specialized, it is not just a regular electrical generator, it deals with landfill gases, so we didn't think that it was appropriate that the bank should just come in and operate it. So they're inserting a particular line into this section, which I don't have here before me, that allows us to give the nod to any future generator and operator of that generator that may be assigned.
Any other changes? Now, if they're just paying you for it's just a land lease,
And the cut of the power, that they sell the power, we get a cut of that, which is pennies.
okay, but there's some obligation to resupply the gas. Right? Or
Very
not?
big. Very
No.
big.
We're required to supply the gas.
But they keep it, they clean it, and they do whatever they need to use it? Or are we responsible for cleaning it?
There's a point of connection between our system and their ownership, and we're responsible for part as are they.
So we remove the water and the other things?
It's not by media, it's not by media, it's not broken out as to the water is our problem, the siloxane is theirs, it's not broken out that way.
What's in it for us to do this? I'm seeing Exhibit B, I see a lot of stuff back here.
I think this,
Nothing other than they're refinancing the equipment.
yeah,
And
and
they're
there
doing
might be an
this-
advantage, I think there might be an advantage to us if they're in a position where they have money and they can update or, I'm not sure, they're probably using the equipment to either update the equipment or fix it or rehab it or something like that. And obviously with them in business, that, helps our position.
So they pay us the land rent and then pennies for the electric. If they don't make electric, we still get the land lease.
Right. The way I read it, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's the only thing we're guaranteed, is the land lease, which is 33, is it?
33,000 plus.
It's 34,000 a year. They're generating 1 million kilowatts a month,
On any given month, but the last
Yeah.
couple months, yes.
which, now what are they selling for? We don't know that. My guess is it's, you could probably tell us, 3-4 cents, right?
They're dumping it into the grid,
Yeah.
At the time.
yeah, they compete with nuclear.
So let's assume that they're getting 4 cents. I don't believe they are, but let's assume they are.
Well, the nuclear's not used around here.
Pardon?
The nuclear's not used around here, so they're dumping into our grid.
No, they're into the big grid, aren't they? Whatever, I don't know. But the point is, assuming they get 4 cents, and I'm not sure they get that, but let's assume that, you're getting 40,000 a month out of 1 million kilowatts a month. So this is not a big business, 40,000 a month.
$500,000 a year.
$500,000 a year. Now, of course, they might have 25 of these, they might have 2, I don't know what they have. I know they have more than one.
And they have indicated to us that they are refinancing all of their equipment at all facilities, not just ours.
Good motion?
Move to second. Any more questions on the motion? Move to second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, so move on that. That's the waiver now. This is the resolution actually authorizing the collateral assignment. And I think we just discussed that actually.
Resolution 114, I make a motion to approve.
Move second. Question on this motion. Again, I think we just, question on the assignment, we really, these questions we just discussed were actually on this particular resolution. Any
So
questions?
is there a problem that our agreements with DCO Energetics, and this is somebody else?
No, SCLE is the legal entity that our agreement's with.
Okay. Just keep bringing up DCO Energetics.
Well, they're the parent company.
Parent company.
As I understand, they're the parent company. this is a separate corporation for this particular project. I'm not sure that's my understanding. Okay, so move to second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed. Resolution authorizing driver's abstract, we already did that. Okay.
And you did the demo.
We did the demo. Okay, resolution appointing a fund commissioner to the statewide insurance fund.
Resolution 115, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, where is that?
4 pages back.
This way?
Oh,
There it is.
The fund commissioner would be me, Peter would be the alternate fund commissioner, and it's for the calendar year 14.
I
Okay,
second that.
what's this one, the one,
115 now.
115? Okay, moved and seconded, any questions on the motion? Moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay. Okay, resolution establishing the date for the annual reorganization meeting.
Resolution 116, make a motion to approve Monday, February 24th.
Moved, you have a second?
Second.
Moved second, all, any questions on the motion?
I'd like to amend it to February 3rd.
Amendment to, you have a second to the
I
amendment?
second.
Moved and seconded, there's a vote on the amendment, there's no discussion on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All not in favor signify by saying no.
No.
No. That's that. Okay, now we'll vote on the original motion. Moved and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
No.
2 noes. Okay. Motion authorizing vacation carryover.
Mr. Chairman, just by way of information, the policy for the Sound County Improvement Authority does provide that the executive director can provide up to 40-hour carryover vacation time at the request of an employee. And we have received such requests from Solid Waste Division Manager Melinda Williams, having reviewed the time balances and the time that she has available and made herself available to us during the transition, which is a very critical period for Rudy and Lynn. I do recommend only that you take by motion the approval of vacation carryover.
I'll make that motion. Motion number 116, was it?
What for the carryover, you said?
40 hours,
Motion on
one-
the resolution.
Not
One week.
okay, no.
and she has it scheduled for January.
And that was the,
Melinda.
okay.
Move, I have a second, move and second. All, any question? Move and second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Correspondence, right? You all have a chance to look at the correspondence. Any questions or comments? I'm sorry.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, just by way of information, the correspondence listing was updated, and you all had a packet at your desk today. It was also amended to include a December 13th brief from County Council, Mr. Mulligan, in opposition to the Sound County Improvement Authority brief, and it also included the December 14th response to that brief was prepared by Adam Telsey, which were presented to the judge today.
Everybody have opportunity to review that? So any other questions on the correspondence? Yes, sir.
In your report, Madam Executive Director, you noted that there was 3 requests for Oprah requests. Are they listed here?
They are not listed in here, they were just received after the correspondence listing, they will be in next month's. We usually include the letter of transmittal as the correspondence.
So it since the revision you just made today?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so, where we at? So we all had a chance to review the correspondence, any comments? Hearing none, I'll order that the correspondence be received, reviewed, and filed. No objection, hearing no objection, so ordered. Okay, so that's the end of the correspondence. Public comment, okay.
entertain a motion to open up public.
So moved.
Second.
Move second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. You all know the route. Any questions? No, there you go.
First of all, season's greetings, and everyone, thank you for coming, and congratulations on your appointment. I heard you're from South Africa, so we'll talk later. Okay, my name's Ann Sullivan, I live in action-packed Alloway, my address is 124 Alloway, Woodstown Road. And I was reviewing the minutes last year, because I know I missed some meetings, and I do apologize. I was reviewing the minutes, and in the February 18th, which was a legal holiday, that's why I missed it, Mr. Cross brought up an active shooter drill. So when were there active shooters ever at the landfill?
February when?
Doesn't that make, no one remembers that?
That's what I was
Absolutely.
And no one else remembers, I'm sorry, memory loss. Active shooter drill?
If I may, Chair.
Yeah.
I'm just mesmerized by this, okay.
I posed the question because during my monthly prosecutor meeting, they had raised that they had been approached by the Improvement Authority, stating they had maybe expressed an interest in having a live shooter drill maybe held out at the landfill. And that was,
The Improvement Authority approached them?
yes, and then, and the reason I asked was because it said it was approached by Mr. Badee, and I didn't understand that Mr. Badee was working as a contractor, I think, for the Improvement Authority at that time.
Was that February of last year?
February of this year,
This year,
I'm sorry.
in the minutes.
Or, I mean, I said this year.
And it had to do with risk management, so that might kind of go with
I
that. So
remember something about it. Could you read it like this?
Yes, as we reviewed our emergency response and operations plans.
I just wasn't hear you, I don't have my back to you when you speak.
We do it
This was mesmerizing, I was just mesmerized, I live around the corners, I wanna know who's shooting.
We were provided with an overview of functionality and responsiveness for our facility.
Yes.
And we were recommended to have an active emergency response plan as well as a drill on site, not necessarily active shooter, but that was one of the things, because we do deal with a lot of cash, as many of you do know.
Mhm.
We did have a meeting with the local and county law enforcement professionals. They did request at that time that we provide an aerial map of the facility with key target areas and review our security measures at that time. We've not had a live drill, but we have continued to work on our reinforcement of our security.
That's when we gave the tour to the state police and the,
Yes.
okay.
Hence, our landfill was
So
much larger since
the
they
thing
saw
was,
us.
supposing we had an active shooter out there,
Yes.
we would have a program to everybody duck their head and that stuff.
Yeah, and the minutes then preceded that executive director was gonna touch base with their risk management and I think and get back. So I just reviewed the minutes very briefly because I say I apologize, I haven't been all the meetings, but I didn't see any more reference to that. And after the recent shootings in Colorado, and all, there's a lot of shooting by me, and it's by people, and the deer are usually the victims. So I just wanted to touch base about that. So that's number one. Thank you very much. Number two, I asked about the cell phone towers a while ago, and I thought at one point, again, I reviewed the minutes, I didn't remember seeing this, was there an option for them to go up for sale? And has that been further discussed? They were
gonna buy out
Buy out our lease.
their lease or
Their
something,
lease.
or like a chunk of it.
Right.
And if I
Nothing
can
happened.
respond, no, but there is a second party who may be interested in intervening in that proposal. We did just provide them with a copy of the current lease, and so if they're interested, they'll get us a proposal back.
Okay, because then I spoke to he's an Alloway, I guess he'd be called our zoning person. He said, well, renting is really good. He just got someone who's trying to put someone up like for $2,500. He said, why sell it when you can make $2,500 a month? But you know, those people in Alloway, they're pretty slick, so you gotta watch them. So I don't know. So he said rent versus sale, so he was just interested.
It's a possibility within the near future, there won't be a need for cell towers.
That's true.
So if you can get a big chunk of money up front, it might be a nice investment or gamble, what you would call a gamble. What investment?
Well, I just hadn't heard anything more about it, Mr. Boris, so I just,
Good question.
well, I'm just saying, that's a good question, but, the pricing was like 183, or there were some numbers being passed back and forth. Number three, the order complaint, any update on the administrative order negotiation with that, with the New Jersey DEP?
None yet.
None yet, so what is the price still, what is the number being tossed around?
90-some hundred, right? 80-some hundred?
Yeah, if you're talking about the initial order issue from 2011, we negotiated it down from the 16,000 to about 9,000.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, and we do not have a value as of yet from the DEP on their subsequent air inspections, which were not odor violations.
Okay, and the salary increases that were voted on go into effect when?
January 1.
January 2014. And the host commit, I'm sorry, my last one. Alloway, host benefits, is anything going on? Again, I didn't
Well,
miss.
now, I mean, the ball's in their court now, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and I just received an email correspondence from their clerk. So that-
Meeting shortly, yeah.
Okay, so then I want to thank you very much for negotiating with them and all that other stuff, because we've been trying to get it together. We all do. Thank you very much,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, just a further comment on that risk management thing. That turned out very well because the fire departments were here, the police were here, sheriff's officers, various people were here, and they were amazed at how the place changed since they were last here 10 years ago. We, to tell you the truth, we never really did know when the last tour was. Is that correct?
They've had so many staff changeovers. It was
No one, I mean, no one really knew. So the point is, they have us on the radar, they know what the facility is, if there's accident out there, they know where to go, and they know what kind of ambulance is bringing, and all those kinds of things. That was good. Any other questions from the public? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, if I could, the first one was in reference to the wage increases. In the minutes, I think it was reflected that they were going to take place in 2014, January.
Yes.
I thought that you said a 5% retro back to January 1, 2013.
No, that's for
That's what
the
the
executive director, that's all.
Okay,
Because she did not get a raise in January of 13.
okay.
We
It said-
postponed it at
It
that
says in
time.
the minutes, and if I could, I just want to read this, and this is why I had the question. Stated that in order to bring the executive director's compensation cycle in line with the other employees, her next salary increase should be effective January 2014 and would be discussed by the board between now and then.
Yes, that would, there's
So
one
retro
salary increase that she missed
Gotcha,
last January,
understood.
and one
Thank you.
possibly for this January.
The second one was for Director Turner Fox, if I go
Yes.
to you, Mr. Chair. The balance of the unrealized assets after the solid waste division was, the budget was balanced. You were,
I did give that to your CFO. I
Okay.
don't have that readily in front of me.
gotcha.
And I did call her and spoke with her in person to confirm
Yeah,
that she has the
yeah,
exact number.
Okay, very good.
If you would like, I'll be happy to email that.
No,
to
quite all right. I'll email her in the morning. Thank
you.
you.
She has the copy of the budget, along with the amount anticipated for the nursing home expenditures for next year,
Okay,
as well as the surplus.
very good. Thank you.
Okay, so now it's time for us to go into closed session.
Motion to close the public portion of the meeting?
So moved.
A second, hold on. For the public, yeah, and straight, but we will be taking action, or we more than likely will be taking action after the meeting, so you're welcome to return.
Do what you gotta do, sir.
Okay.
I'm moving on, thank you very much.
We got water out there.
Thank you very much.
All right, so the move and second with the closed session.
To close the public portion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Move and second, close the public portion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, so ordered.
Motion to go into executive session?
Safe to say I won't be present.
You can come back to that. Because we're going to take a lot of action.
Oh, you're all right.
We hope to take a lot of action.
Thank you.
after-
everyone.
Good night.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas,
Happy
Happy New
holidays.
Year.
Have a good holiday.
Yeah, you can-
See you, Joe.
Okay, so move to second, go into closed session for the purpose of, what's our purpose?
Attorney-client communication, discussion of anticipated pending litigation
Okay,
with regard
is that
to,
part of your motion?
with regard to improvement authority versus San County for the freeholders, and with regard to the nursing home outstanding balance. Things I think we're going to discuss.
Move to second, any question on the motion? Move to second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
If I don't see you, a sincere Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.